saying would makes a lot of sense. I would like to wordsmith just a sentence into section 3 that states clearly that even if the amount is under $5,000, communication needs to be continued with the commission, and email is fine. Email's trackable, phone is not. And then number 4, I also think, based on your comment, I hadn't even thought about that, but we should have a clarifying sentence that says something about getting to that time crunch opportunity without losing it, yeah. And again, that goes to being responsible to the taxpayers, because we can save, and have saved a lot of money with that option in the past. We don't wanna close the door on it. But you're right, if all of a sudden we're all gone, the next team of leaders need to be able to look at this and know clearly what the intent is. So, I think I still wanna get this done by March, and I'm wondering if we can't meet later on this afternoon even with some language changes to approve this. And then I can email it to you. I'll email it to everybody, but if you would look that over and highlight it so you can see it at a glance. Okay.
Well, and for the most part, I think it's just, this is what we're doing. I think that's where we have to go.
I think you're right.
And then we're gonna continue to go down that path, so. But like I said, I just don't, we spent enough time rehashing things and getting scrutinized over things, over some simple words, so. I got other things to do with my time than sit there and deal with somebody because they wanna play word games with me, so.
And that'll give Corey a little bit more time too to review those. I'll make sure that he is CC'd again.
Is
So
he
that
in today? I didn't get a chance to stop in there, so.
Yeah.
Is he in? Okay.
yeah, I think that maybe he would be one to double check those sentences too that we put in.
So do we want to get together this afternoon and discuss these word changes then, or what did you want to do there?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we could have something done by 2ish.
I have a FTO meeting at 2, but if you send it to me, I'm more than happy to just respond to you in email if there's anything that is, I can do that.
Okay.
But it's been a while since the FTOs have had a meeting, and so we have some training issues that we need to get in, so.
And I'm good to change that, I just threw that, picked it
Yeah.
out of the air, I'm good with any time.
Yeah, and like I said, I can email, I can read it and say, yeah, I don't have, everything looks good, and email you back and be done that way too, so.
Okay,
You're gonna have a commission meeting on the 26th next Monday.
we do?
I don't need this until Friday, the 2nd of March. My first grant is due. The next one's the 9th of March. If you want to consider this next Monday on your agenda, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll put it on the agenda for final approval or discussion and approval for
26th, I think.
February 26th.
I think it'd be
Works.
wise to let other people look at it a little,
Sure,
work your language, I don't know the way it needs to be done.
we're not putting you under a crunch.
No way,
All right, good, I like that idea.
no way, no, we're fine.
Okay,
I just want to attach it to that grant until you finalize it. If you don't finalize it, then I'll go with state purchase and policy, like we have in the previous year.
this makes a lot of sense, Mike, what you put together.
But I think it needs a little work,
Just a little, I think it's really good what you've put together.
some learning experience.
Daryl, are you on the email list for the agendas and for this
I am.
information?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I did.
All right.
So from Ann and from, is it Michelle?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
So if there's not any more discussion today, we will move this to the adoption for the 26th of February.
It would be good to have Corey's eyeballs on this too, and I think that gives him more of an opportunity to get back on that.
So we want to get together this afternoon and do what we want to do, wording on this, and then send a copy to Corey, and then make sure he goes through it.
I'm good with that if you wanna do that, okay?
That's all we have for agenda items. Is there anything else anybody needs to bring up?
No, just general discussion stuff from the conference,
Okay.
but, I don't know how much of that we really need to discuss today, it could just be discussed at a later meeting.
Okay.
With so many of the cost shifts to the county, we need, I think maybe having ongoing budget discussions, but maybe not today. But I'll come prepared with what we learned from Department of Health and Human Services Thursday. I think you had left that morning, but mental health costs are being shifted to the counties. DOC issues, those are just gonna grow because so much of what we have in Hotel Broadwater next door is related to mental health. A lot of other cuts from DPHHS that are expected to be picked up by counties. What we have going on right now in the clerk and recorder's office, waiting for Eric's analysis and then getting the email from Department of Revenue with all the work they're shifting over to counties.
Can't we just bill them?
We can, but they're not gonna pay.
We should just have every county bill them for it.
I know, I agree with you, I'm
That's
totally on
required.
board
I
with
don't-
billing.
We should, we get our own assessor and then we keep 25 and send them 3.
Right?
Because that's, it's just ridiculous. Our treasurer office going to be tied up doing all their work. It's same as with Wynn's getting tough with all his stuff.
Right.
So everybody just starts sending them a bill, and then when they get done, file a lien against them and take some of the property or something.
I wish you'd propose that on Thursday.
I was gonna leave you with a note, but it probably wouldn't have been appropriate with you reading my message.
I could have done it with the wind's heat.
Yeah, it's not getting any better.
No, and I'm fearful that the next session is going to be playing off what they already did, only more so. Oh, well, we shifted, all these millions of dollars to the taxpayers of the counties across the state so that we didn't have to pay our obligation, and we're able to stand in front of the camera and say, we didn't raise your taxes. I think they're gonna do that again. I think they had success. People are mad at counties, not at legislators. And I think we're in for a heck of a ride next session.
Well, and Reg and Cynthia were very, they want to go back and I'm just irks me to no end, but not only do they have grants now to pay for housing for convicted felons that get out of jail or out of prison, because heaven forbid if they went out and got a job and paid for their own stuff. But now they have those, but they want to go back and deal with the root issues of their childhood when they were neglected or abused as a child, and now they're 40 years old and they've spent the better part of their life in prison. They want to go back and fix that. So, it's, I don't think that's the path that we really need to be going down. And I like I told Laura, I'm not really a firm believer in their justice reform. I think it's just lowering the standard of what's acceptable behavior in today's society, and that's what it's come down to. I brought up the DUI component just as a talking point during their thing, where when I started my career in law enforcement, a felony DUI was 10 years in the Montana State Prison, and you served majority of it. Now we're at 13 months with a 6 months watch program, and and then you go off to a pre-release center for 7. That's the new standard, but, like I told them, I said, when I have people that are 39, 38, 39 years old with 23 DUIs sitting in my jail, the system is not functioning, and there's no reform there. And so, then when they got rid of persistent felony offender and all that stuff, so people couldn't be incarcerated, so they just made it more easy for people to commit felonies and not be held accountable for their actions. So, and I think that they are gonna continue down that path, and Governor Bullock was pretty adamant in his interview on the news that he had no desire to extend that contract with Crossroads Correctional Facility up in Shelby. There are 660 state inmates in that facility, and majority of them all are bad guys. All of our homicide guys, or violent offenders, violent sexual offenders. So if they don't continue that contract, I'd be curious to see where those 660 bad guys are gonna go. Because I can't imagine Crossroads is just gonna continue to hold on to them without being paid. But that's definitely an interesting component of what their justice reform is, so. And the other fact is they've cut the mental health treatment money, the addiction counseling money, but we're gonna keep creating more community correction programs. And I think I offended them when I called their pre-release center a pre-escape center. I think I got under their nerves a little bit with that one, but 5 walkaways out of Lewis and Clark County in 4 days, I think, says enough about their process. And then to preach it in the community safety or public safety is not the avenue I think that we need to go down, so. A little contentious, but, yeah.
Yeah, 2 things too with that, again, from conference. If you are a drug addict, alcoholic that need treatment, if you have your own personal pay insurance, you can probably get in as long as there's a bed available. If you are on Medicaid or Medicare, you've got a huge wait list to wait for, and if you're a convicted felon, you get in right away. So we're also skewing our assistance for people who are actively looking for it. And then Wynn, you should know that the anti-drug committee on JAG funds voted to put it all into drug task forces. Comes before the board on March 1st, and I don't think it'll be opposed.
Good.
The plan originally for that was to actually cost share with the state and be able to foray some of that money into prevention, but fully fund drug task forces. With what happened at the legislature, that plan,
Yeah.
there's no hope for it. So they're going back to full funding with no prevention. But you can't defund fighting drugs right now and just shift to prevention. You've got to continue fighting the drugs and fund prevention programs.
Where I see, one of the states has more, which has a high rate of violent crime, actually has more overdose deaths than they do the homicides or anything else, which is, I mean, it's bad out there. I mean, New Jersey, Rhode Island, somewhere over there, and they pulled 44 pounds of fentanyl off the street. That's a lot. That's bad. That's a bad day right there. If that would have got on the street, fentanyl's what's killing people really, really quick, along with the heroin. It's just pouring into the country. So I'm glad that
Me too.
everybody's got on board with it, because it's gonna hit us here eventually as well. So Gallatin County, I think last fall had 4 overdose deaths because of fentanyl and heroin. So it's just around the corner.
Yeah. I think that's all I have.
So I guess seeing no other business, go ahead, Mike.
Did you guys ever talk about the lighting retrofit, like give you guys a price on?
Thank you, I have the information here and just skipped it. So, and this kind of goes to this whole procurement policy. Mike comes to us with everything, and I want that to be an example of how everyone should be working with us and not squash that at all. But, I thank you for talking to us about this. I move that we move forward with this proposal as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made, and second to move forward with the acquisition of this light panel, or this light retrofit legend panel. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries.
And I would leave it to Mike to determine the most prudent timing,
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So whatever you think is best.
Yeah, they give me a price to just basically replace the guts, so I don't have to do a bunch of rewiring, so make it nice and easy. Was a new upgrade.
Is that the jail lights?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the panel?
The panel, all the, what controls all the jail lights inside there. I know,
You're not replacing the box, or you're just replacing the guts, right?
just replace the guts,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you need a copy of this?
Please, thank you.
It'll make it easier, then I can bypass everything for that day, and then I can go and just replace the guts, and then, so.
Is that gonna be free to prisoners day, or just let them on call?
Yeah, we're fine.
Cells are locked, not open for anything.
Okay, if there's any other business to come before the board, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Sure.
Motion's made, and seconded,
Second.
adjourn,
Time?
11:19.
This isn't really commission stuff, just questions. The Title 76, you got 5 books.
Yeah, I gave